So I'm pretty sure that anybody that's ever been on the internet knows what a visual novel is. It's a term that used to refer exclusively to dating simulator games, but now it's sort of expanded and coalesced to include all these other games that are about like a whole bunch of stuff, really. There's a ton of stuff that fits underneath the term visual novel nowadays. And here on the visual novel tag on the Steam store, you can see clear evidence of that. There are 24 pages of visual novel top sellers. And I mean, you got all of your regular stuff. You know, you got your Doki Doki Literature Club, you got your Sakura series, you got the things that everybody's heard about. But I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for the stuff that people haven't heard about, the stuff that gets a bit weird. And so I'm going to browse through the top seller section of the visual novel tag just to see if I can find anything particularly interesting. So let's get going.
Anime pussy, and anime pussy, anime pussy, and anime pussy.
So here's an interesting one. This one is called Love Language Japanese. From what I can tell, this is a dating sim, obviously, because, well, you know, look at it, and it's got this tag, so yeah, clearly. But it also seems to be a method of teaching yourself basic Japanese. According to the game's description, it's a smart blend between a visual novel dating sim and an e-learning experience. Through 90 in-game days, learn Japanese every weekday morning and use your free time to roam the map in search of a new adventure, new friends, and perhaps new love. So this is a game that teaches you Japanese. This is like the perfect thing that any, you know, Japanese enthusiast would want to play, because you got the hot anime babes, and then you've also got the chance to learn actual Japanese, so when you finally work up the courage to go to Japan, you don't look like a complete idiot, because you know how to speak the language. From what I've heard, they get kind of angry at you if you speak English in Japan. They it's bad, you know, don't do it. But if you play this game, then you don't have to worry about it. Of course, you do have to considering that this is how the characters look, how much of this information are you really going to retain? Like, here's the way they teach it to you, and you gotta, like, write stuff, and you're like, okay, but maybe oh yeah, I'm practicing the Japanese, yeah, but no, I'm doing it. I just feel like maybe this isn't the most efficient way to teach yourself the Japanese language. I think I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. Because it tries to teach you Japanese, and maybe if you're really concentrated, you'll actually learn some Japanese. But otherwise, it's just another dating simulator. There's really nothing interesting here. So this is an interesting one. This is Negligee, and it's... Is that how you pronounce it? Negligee? It's a... How do you pronounce this word? I don't understand. Whatever, in this game... Basically, the premise is that you are a manager. You're a manager of a lingerie store, and your workforce is entirely female. So you can probably interpret what's going to happen from that point onward. As the new manager, you must find the right girl or girls to aid you in running the shop, help the various shoppers find what they are looking for, and to get to grips with your newfound position in order to be a success. So obviously this game has some problems in terms of realism, and I'm not talking about the obvious here, the obvious realism problems. I'm talking about the whole, like, premise of the game in general. Think about how this would play out in real life. You are the male manager, you're probably a dude, manager of a lingerie store, and your workforce is entirely female. There's not a single other male in your workforce. You're the only dude there. Don't you think that would be, like, kind of awkward? Not just for you, but for your workers? That wouldn't go over well. It wouldn't be, like, hilarious antics. It would be like a lawsuit waiting to happen. I just can't imagine any part of this situation turning out well. But whatever, I guess in the world of anime, anything is possible. Even this. I'm gonna give this game a 6 out of 10 for lack of realism. So this one doesn't look completely awful. It's a game called Tiny Snow. From what I can tell, it's a dating sim, but it doesn't look like a completely terrible one. The characters, they aren't like over sexualized, and it seems like there's like an actual story. I don't know what the game's about because the description is entirely in Japanese, but maybe it's okay. It's only $4. It's got an original soundtrack. You can unlock achievements. I mean, maybe it's fine. I'll give this game an 8 out of 10. Probably an okay dating simulator. Might be worth the $4. This here is a dating simulator called Coming Out on Top. It's for homosexuals. Glad to see that this genre has become more inclusive as of late. I don't really have that much to say about it. However, I would like to mention this top hat on your character avatar here looks completely terrible. It looks like they just cut and they copied and pasted an outline of a top hat and just put it on top of your character's head. They didn't even bother to make it look realistic. It's just like the top hat is stapled onto the top of his head. So I'm giving this game a 5 out of 10 because of poor top hat design. Okay, so this is Stay Democratic People's Republic of Korea. This is a dating simulator in which you go to North Korea and you are Donald Trump. Look at this. Is there anything else I can say about this? This is like ridiculous. You're in North Korea and you're dating military officers in North Korea, and it's like there's the North Korean, and there's like an anime, oh my god, there's statues of these, I don't remember who these people are, I don't know anything about North Korea, but it's like, why does this exist? This is a joke game. This is one of those joke joke visual novels, which are always so fun to see. The year is 2021. America is back in Afghanistan, and you, soldier, are about to get a well-deserved vacation. What better way to spend it than with some of your Korean Army pen pals, Jeong and Yoonji? Pyongyang is just a suburb of Seoul, right? Unfortunately not. Welcome to North Korea, crossed out the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Enjoy your stay. Apparently it's pretty good. It's got very positive reviews and an original soundtrack. 9 out of 10. Because if I rate it any lower, then the secret police will come and get me. This one's really, really bizarre. This is King of Texas. John Bega's dream has just come true. He's been drafted as the new running back for one of America's best football team. Team, like, not teams, team. The Dallas Sheriffs. What will happen to this athletic Louisianan, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that correctly, when he moves up to Texas to do... Wait, Louisiana, there's nothing below Texas. Texas is the bottommost state in the country. You don't move up to... Whatever. This is a dating sim in Texas with anime babes with cowboy hats. I don't understand this. And like, look at the text. Look. I can't like wrap my brain around this character saying this. Like, look at the disparity between the text and the overall look of the character. And this is, as far as I'm aware, this is not how people from Texas talk. They do not talk like this. At least I hope they don't. Please tell me they don't. Oh, look at that. Don't forget the 18 plus patch DLC, which is free. Well, it's only $2, so I guess you're going to get your money's worth if you call this your money's worth. I wouldn't, to be perfectly honest. And what are these things in the butt? Oh, these are cowboy boots. This font is very ugly. I don't like the look of this game at all. 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. Absolutely abysmal. Alright, so this isn't so much a visual novel as it is a tool for creating visual novels, but I still felt like I should talk about it because it's a complete ripoff. This thing sells normally. It's on sale right now. It sells for $60, and it's a tool used to create visual novels. This ignores the fact that you can create a visual novel in, like, the most basic program ever. I could make a visual novel in Scratch in, like, an hour. A really simple one, but I could still do it. I don't need a stupid program like this to do it for me. Like, you just think about the components. You just need a text box, some character icons, a background. You click a button a bunch of times. It's not even hard. It's the easiest thing in the universe. That's why there are so many of these games, because they take no skill to create. This one is just shameless. Look at the title. Otaku Z Fantasy. The game knows why you're buying it. It's like self-aware. Look at this description. I was a deadbeat. After times and times of getting fire. Oh, it's not good English. I worked as a cleanup crew, just trying to make a living. When I got nothing to do, Oh my god. What is this game? It's like, this is the worst kind of visual novel, because it's not even, it's just, you know, shameless sexualization and complete lack of character development. It's just like, oh, anime girls, and it knows too. It's like making fun of you at the same time, just in the title alone. Because this isn't like you're an awkward teenager and like, oh, I'm meeting all these hot girls, and that's the character. That's you. That's you. You're the socially awkward person that's having trouble in this situation. That's actually you. It's not someone else. It's you. Because you're a failure. This is what you wanted. This is like terrifying, because it's both a representation of what it means to be an otaku and to be obsessed with this stuff, and it's a critique of it at the exact same time. 10 out of 10. A masterpiece. Muv Love Alternative. This one's kind of interesting. Look at this. Look at these screenshots. There's a person holding a gun. There's like weird cyborgs and stuff. Is this Neon Genesis Evangelion? What is this? This isn't a dating sim. Hold on. I'm gonna read the description here. This is it. The chips are down, the die's been cast, and the fate of the multiverse is on the line. Step back into the cockpit and prepare for deployment in Muv Love Alternative, the most critically acclaimed visual novel of all time. Just be sure to keep a box of tissues handy, because it's about to be a bumpy ride. What do you mean by that? This isn't a cutesy high school rom-com anymore. It's an epic tale of political conspiracies, international espionage, an alien menace, quantum causality, bittersweet reunions, genetic modification, and much, much more. Gluttons for punishment, rejoice, because once it gets rolling, there are no brakes on this pain train. It'll test your limits, challenge your worldview, and by the time it's all over, you'll be so emotionally spent that it'll be weeks before you can fully process the implications of what you've just witnessed. Fair warning though, common side effects include feelings of emptiness, PTSD, and unrealistic expectations for any and all other visual novels. Wow, they're really upselling this thing. And it's $40. $40 for a visual novel that, for apparently, according to this description, like, completely changes the foundations of the entire world. It's such a deep and compelling piece of art. From what I can interpret, this started off as like a regular sort of dating sim-esque visual novel and just transpired and turned into this. It's like they gave me full control of the writing. They just said, here, do whatever you want with it, and I did, and I turned it into something completely terrible with robots and aliens and quantum immortality and stuff. And there's a really long and boring story that nobody cares about. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. It's probably not as good as it's selling itself up to be, but it's got like Neon Genesis Evangelion robots, so I guess it's probably okay. This one doesn't make any sense. This is actually a game that I play, BlazBlue. I play BlazBlue. I actually have this game. I don't see why it's labeled as a visual novel, because it isn't. It's a fighting game. I mean, there's visual novel elements. There's like parts of it where it's sort of like a visual novel, but it's mainly a fighting game. So I don't see why it's being classified as a visual novel. That's like if you classified like Skullgirls or Mortal Kombat or any other 2D fighter as a visual novel just because the characters talk to each other in story segments. It doesn't seem like a very fitting description in my opinion, but after playing through this game, I have to give it a 9 out of 10. It's a very good fighting game. Maybe not a good visual novel, but a very good fighting game. Long live the Queen. Long live the Queen! This one you get to look at the Queen. So this is a game where, this is kind of interesting. This is a visual novel in which you are a princess in a medieval kingdom aspiring to become a queen. And right off the bat, that basically determines the entire course of the game, because everybody knows how princesses operated in that day and age. Your marriage was arranged for you when you were born, and then when you were 13, you got shipped off to whoever prince you were arranged to marry. You got shipped off to his castle, and you basically became his slave for the rest of your life, because women had no rights during this time. This was the Middle Ages, alright? People urinated in the street. There was disease and death everywhere. Anything was possible in the Middle Ages. Except women's rights. That wasn't possible. But in my opinion, I don't think that you're going to be engaging in any romance, because romance was dead during the Middle Ages, and or like studying, because women weren't sent to school and women weren't given any sort of formal schooling, and none of this would have happened. You wouldn't have had any power. You're a freaking princess. You're just going to be like, your soul is going to be sold off to whatever prince you're going to marry. 3 out of 10. Very unrealistic. Doesn't capture the feel of being a medieval princess at all. They didn't even have pink hair back then. That wasn't a thing either. After carefully inspecting all of these different visual novels, I've come to a scientifically sound conclusion. 10% of the visual novels you find on the Steam store are just fighting games that have visual novel elements, like BlazBlue, Skullgirls, maybe Mortal Kombat. I've never actually played Mortal Kombat, but maybe they have stuff like that. 10% of the visual novels are just like actually decent visual novels. They're trying to tell a good story. And then the other 80% are just cleavage simulators. This shouldn't have been very surprising, and it wasn't very surprising to me, but it is nice to know that even amidst the sea of garbage that is the visual novel tag, there's still a few things that are of decent quality. If you find yourself having some money to spare, maybe you should pick one of these up. You probably won't regret it.